Hi guys, I just wanted to go over a little bit more in depth about different types of appeals, what you need to do and what you need to present in order for you to have an opportunity of those appeals being approved. All right, so looking at financial aid, if we just going into your Pell and your TAP. So remember that these can be affected. Losing your financial aid is one of the potential risks of having a low GPA or by not attaining the amount of credits that you need to or they expect you to have within a certain period of time. So looking at the chart, and you guys, now have the copy, so you can pause this and look at it and really kind of figure out where you are. With Pell, which is the federal financial aid, you're looking at your credits attempted, which is along the top row, and then how much must be completed. So if you see 0 to 12, if you've attempted 0 credits, of course, you don't have to have anything completed. But even if you have attempted 12 credits, you don't necessarily have to have any of them completed. However, the caveat to that, or kind of the trick, is that you have to have at least a 1.5 GPA. Well, if you withdraw or fail from everything, your GPA still is 0.00, right? So there is a little bit of a trickery kind of thing to it, but at the same time, what you will do is first find out how many credits you've attempted, not how many you actually have, but attempted. Then take a look at what percentage they expect you to have completed, and then finally what GPA you need to have. That will help you to determine, if you don't have financial aid now, what you will need to do in order to gain financial aid. And remember that when you are repeating a course that you have a D plus or below in, that remember those, the first grade or grades, that if they're D plus or below, no longer count, neither do the attempted credits. So that can actually help boost you as well. Then looking at your state financial aid, which is TAP, you look at how many awards you received. So your first semester is the first award. So of course, going into your first semester, you've never been in school, you don't need to have anything. After your first semester going into your second, that means during your first semester, you have to have at least 6 credits completed. So you have to have actually earned 6 credits and have at least 6 credits earned, of course, and then a minimum GPA. Now looking at your third, 6 credits again. However, you have to have 15 credits overall, which means one of those 2 semesters you have to have earned at least 9 credits. While you can appeal for Pell fairly easily, you have kind of somewhat an unlimited number of appeals for Pell. You don't have that for TAP. For TAP, you only have 1 appeal throughout the duration of the time that you're in college. So generally at Queensborough, because you never know when an emergency might occur later on, and because your 4-year school is generally more expensive, we only do Pell appeals, the federal financial appeals, because we don't want to waste your 1 TAP appeal. So looking at, these are SAP, so it's satisfactory academic progress appeals. So if it is your own illness, including an accident or injury, you need a letter from a healthcare physician or healthcare provider from whom you receive treatment. Death of an immediate family member, which would be a parent, a sibling, if you're married, a spouse, if you have a child, you would need a copy of the death certificate. Illness or accident of an immediate family member, again, same group of people, you need a physician statement, medical documents explaining illness, police report. Now, remember that if part of your issue is that you need to care for them, or you need to help care for them, or they were unable to work and you needed to start working, you need to explain why this was such a big factor for you. If the doctor stating that you needed to help them, or that you needed to care for them, then you would want the doctor to include that as well. So any kind of medical documentation, and again, you want a letter. Personal crisis or undue hardship or work-related issue that was beyond your control. So listen, a personal crisis, severe personal family problems, this includes mental health stuff, mental health issues, fire, financial problems, etc., being robbed, if there was a natural disaster, whatever the case may be. This is anything that something occurred in your personal life that caused you to have an undue hardship. So that made it very hard for you to do what you needed to do for school, basically. So for this, you can have a notarized letter. So a lot of students are like, where do I find a notary? You can Google it. Look at notaries near me. A notary costs $2. The person will need to write the letter. They will need to bring a form of photo ID. It has to be it has to be government issued, state or federal. So it can be a passport, and it doesn't have to necessarily be from the United States. It can be a passport for any country. It could be a non-driver's ID. It could be a driver's license, something to that extent that has a picture on it. So a parent, relative, third party, somebody who is familiar with the situation. Now, sometimes when you guys talk to your advisors and you tell us what's going on with you, you will tell us about this stuff. There are occasions in which I have written letters for my students. When the letter is coming from an advisor or another school professional, somebody else in the college, if a professor, if you've spoken to them that can write you a letter, any of those type of people can write you a letter, then it does not have to be notarized. You'll have it with your therapist or counselor. Generally, it's good for them to have it notarized. Doesn't necessarily have to be notarized, but they definitely, if you're having it from a therapist or counselor, need to include their contact information and their credentials. You will likely, if you are asking for a letter from a therapist, a counselor, or a doctor, they will likely request, if it's not your doctor, a lot of times, especially too, that you sign a consent form. This is so that they are not violating federal HIPAA laws. Okay, so that you might have to go and sign a consent form. So you want them to explain the crisis or hardship. The person writing the letters must be state who they are, who are they to you. They have to be signed by the person who wrote it and notarized. For work-related issues, you need a letter from your employer, manager, or supervisor on letterhead from the company. They have to explain why they needed you to work, why it could not be changed, what was the reason. So that you would want to have from them. Now, I've had situations where students have had a letter in a different language, or the parent has written in a different language. You can go to a notary that speaks a different language, that can see that that's them or what have you. You would then have to have it translated. You can translate it as long as your parents agree, or if you can explain what it is, what have you, you can translate it yourself and help them to write it into English. That's fine as well. Grade change. So this is meeting SAP GPA requirements. So sometimes I've had students where an incorrect grade has gone in, or they had an incomplete grade, which they've then done the work and gotten the grade reversed, and then it brought them up. I had a student even last semester that she was at like a 1.9 something, was not meeting SAP, and her professor then put in her grade. They put it in after the end of the semester, and it boosted her up to a 2.15. So for this semester, what she's doing is she is writing a letter and writing a personal letter to them stating, at the end of fall semester, yes, my grade was still this. However, my professor had not put in my final grade until after the rest of the grades were in, and now my GPA is at this level. Very easy that you can write that one. If you're changing, you can talk about changing a major. So if your major is not working out for you, but you again want to explain why. Why is changing your major? What's going to make the difference with this? Why did you change your major? What was wrong with the last major? Excessive transfer credits for ASAP, you guys really don't worry about that because you wouldn't have that amount of credits coming in to affect that. Accepted into Fresh Start program. So I have a student now this semester. We just started Fresh Start program within the last year. And this student then basically was here years ago and had a horrible GPA. Even with that Fresh Start program, I had her get a letter from somebody that she knew back 5-6 years ago when she was attending school, that knew about the situation at hand and why she was doing poorly at that time. And she had it notarized, again, personal crisis, because you want to ensure that you're covering all your bases. And then you guys you're not returning for a second degree or certificate, again, because you're an ASAP. Don't worry about that part. If you're called to active military duty, this has happened. It is currently going on now with some students that they've been called away for special training due to the situations at hand in the world. You would just need to provide your military documents. However, if you are a student that is a reservist or National Guard, and if you're in the reserves or National Guard, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Or for some reason, if you're active duty, we do have 1 or 2 students that are active duty military. If you are, and I would say, sorry, if you're, yeah, when I say active duty, I mean you are actually in the Army, Navy, whatever military area, that you're not as a reservist or National Guard, like this is your career, but you're doing classes kind of thing, you're going for your degree. For that, I always recommend right away that you get in touch with our Veterans Affairs office, because they will help you through. I have a student now that has to go for training in another country. Given where they're going, it's possible that they might not come back in 2 weeks as they've been told. So I've already asked them to get everything set up with Veterans Affairs office at the college, and to have a family member have a contact information for me and for the Veterans Affairs and the professors, so that God forbid they can't come back in 2 weeks, that we can assist with getting them W'd, withdrawn from their classes, versus them failing. Now, where that would cause an issue is, remember that amount of credits towards degree for both Pell and for TAP. If they don't attain the credits this semester, they cannot get it. Now, with that, we could do a TAP appeal with that one, and it's possible they might, just given the situation at hand. All right. And then grade appeals. So this is with the registrar's office. And if you go on the QCC website under the registrar's page, this is where you'll find this information. What you will do here is it's a retroactive withdrawal from a prior semester. So WU grade from a prior semester, a late withdrawal from the current semester. That meaning that you missed the withdrawal deadline. The withdrawal deadline now is the last day of classes, so they are no longer accepting these because the withdrawal deadline is the last day of classes. An INC extension, that's if you received an INC grade, you have 1 semester to complete the work. Sometimes students aren't able to do that. So you would then file, if you have, for whatever reason, something's going on, you're going to file an INC grade beyond that. And then a dismissal, which is for continuing students. So if any of you guys don't, remember I talked about you could be dismissed from the college, you can appeal that dismissal. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. However, you can file an appeal to be reinstated to the college. The reasons that they accept these at the registrar's office, similar, but they're called different things, and so you'd have it filed differently. So a health appeal, if that's your physical health, same kind of stuff that you need for if you're appealing this for SAP. Mental health appeal, again, mental health provider, a therapist or counselor, so same as with SAP. SSD, so this is for a student that was not utilizing their disability services. You would need a copy of a previous 504 or IEP, and or a letter from the SSD office on campus, and or some other proof of diagnosis. Veterans appeals, again, that's the same as people who are in the military, our students in the military, you need your military documentation. And then anything else, which is all of the other stuff that I discussed with the SAP appeals, same thing. Letters of document and or other documentation of the reason. Again, I would strongly encourage you, when you get that notary, if you're doing a SAP appeal and any kind of grade appeal at the same time, get 2 notarized letters. You want to submit both originals, one to the SAP committee and one to the Committee on Course and Standing.